You remember back in 2016 when all of a sudden all those clown sightings started appearing all across the country? People would be driving down their streets and all of a sudden they'd look out the window and look across the field and there'd be this clown out there. It became a phenomenon. There were videos all over the place. It was the first time I remember on Facebook seeing something super viral where these clown sightings were happening all over. Now, of course, it was just probably for fun and a hoax, but I always wondered if there was maybe one or two of those clowns out there, or people dressing up as clowns that were actually really horrible people trying to take advantage of something like that. That's not really what this video is about, but I can't deny that I've often thought about that. Now, as a horror lover, movies about clowns is something I really do enjoy, so I like watching movies about killer clowns. And when that whole thing was going on, people definitely took advantage of this clown sighting phenomenon. There's some really weird and interesting movies that came out during that time, and I wanted to spotlight some of those today. So today's video is going to be about 3 underrated and just bizarre, weird clown movies. And we're going to start off with probably the strangest one you'll ever see. I just picked this up on DVD. This is Wrinkles the Clown, and if you look, I actually got a Palm Beach County Library System DVD. That's right, this is a DVD that came from a Palm Beach library, and it even came with the receipt, but it's an official DVD from Magnet and Magnolia. Wrinkles the Clown was something I used to see showing up on Hulu back in the day. So eventually I decided I wanted to watch Wrinkles the Clown, and I showed it to my wife, and she was like, I have little to no interest in that. That's all you, Christian. So I cozied up in the movie room, turned the lights out, and I watched Wrinkles the Clown, not knowing anything. It's a found footage movie, and it's also a documentary, but it's a faux documentary. A super subgenre of found footage, if you will. And to throw a clown element into that is to make this a movie that you could probably name only maybe 1 or 2 other movies in the world that are exactly what Wrinkles the Clown is. But as weird as Wrinkles the Clown is, I do enjoy it. So the story of Wrinkles the Clown is about this clown that's in Florida, of all places, right? And this clown shows up at people's houses when their kids act bad. Now you're thinking, is this some kind of, vigilante boogeyman clown that tries to punish bad kids? Well, not exactly. It's a clown where parents call the clown to show up to scare their kids to set them straight. Almost like a Scared Straight program or something like that. But interesting enough, Wrinkles becomes this huge phenomenon. People are wondering, who is this clown? They love the clown, but they're also fearful at the same time because you never know what this clown's truly capable of. I love the look of Wrinkles in this movie, and the interesting thing about Wrinkles the Clown is it took way more twists and turns than I was anticipating. So it's a little weird because I can't say that Wrinkles the Clown is a movie I would recommend to just anybody, but because it's so oddball and unique and just off the wall, I kind of want everybody to see this. Odds are you might have seen this show up on Hulu or Netflix and just scrolled past it saying, what the hell is that? Wrinkles the Clown. It looks like it came out around 2018 or 2019, but it was definitely a movie that was capitalizing off of the clown-demic we were having that started in 2016. So Wrinkles the Clown is definitely the weirdest movie of the bunch that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Go stream this one or pick up the DVD. Now, the DVD was a little difficult to pick up, but also not really. I just went to Amazon, then went to the Buy It Now section and looked up my options and saw that there was a used DVD from the Palm Beach County Library System. So yeah, that's the first library movie in my collection I think I have. Now, the next clown movie I want to talk to you guys about, I guess I could say is underrated, but I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but it's actually a pretty fun movie. And the reason I wanted to talk about this one is because it's definitely underseen and a little undervalued. Now, the reason I say that is because when this whole thing went down back in 2016, 5 or 6 months later, there was this trailer that showed up all over Facebook. It was for a movie called Behind the Sightings. Now, Behind the Sightings had a lot of production issues and never ended up coming out up until about 2020 or even 2021. But that movie absolutely sucked. It was a great title, the trailer was fantastic for it, but the movie's horrible. Now, fast forward about a year and change, I was flipping through my latest Horror Hound magazine, and they have a section that shows new horror Blu-ray and DVD releases, and even 4K releases, and I happened to stumble across this movie. Now, when I saw this, I was like, looks okay, looks interesting. Then I watched a trailer and thought, okay, it's a found footage movie, I'm in. That movie is called Gags the Clown. Now, Gags the Clown is a movie that should have taken the place in terms of the publicity, in my opinion, that Behind the Sightings did, because compared to Behind the Sightings, Gags the Clown is damn near a masterpiece. So if you're wondering what Gags the Clown is about, it's very much in the premise of what was going on during the clown-demic. There's this clown that has entered Green Bay and people are terrified of it. It shows up at the worst possible times and it's just scaring the hell out of everybody. Now, there's a lot of people that want to see this clown go away, including this one guy who has this podcast, which is cool because instead of it being like a young person with a podcast, they got a guy that's like the Al Bundy type from Married with Children having his own show, and he is pissed off that this clown is around. But the thing I like about Gags the Clown is it's fairly suspenseful, and it's a modestly budgeted found footage movie, so the performances aren't exactly top tier great, but they're all fairly okay, and it just makes for a decent little popcorn flick. I like the design of Gags the Clown, and there's some twists and turns in here that I give them credit for trying to go above and beyond to do something unique. When it comes to the clown-demic movies and movies that were coming out because of that, Gags the Clown is the movie people should see, not Behind the Sightings. No disrespect to the people that made Behind the Sightings, but for God's sakes, have anybody seen that? It's one of the worst movies I've ever watched. This movie deserved the praise, not Behind the Sightings. Now, one more movie I want to talk about is fairly recognized, but there's always people that haven't seen this that I want to talk to you guys about. I'll never forget there was this movie that was talked about, and about a month or so later, it just kind of leaked online. Now, the movie didn't come out officially on Blu-ray for a couple years after that, but I did happen to watch it when it leaked online, like everybody else did, and it was really, really cool. This is about a movie called Clown. Now, Clown is a really interesting premise. It just works. It's simple. If somebody was to describe you the premise of this movie, you'd be like, oh yeah, I want to check that out. So this kid's having a birthday party, and his dad hires a clown to do the party, but when the clown, I think, flaked, the dad got his hands on this old clown suit from one of the houses that he was a realtor for or something, and puts this suit on, but after the party was over, he couldn't get the clown suit off. So he's stuck with this clown suit with this nose and this silly outfit on, and the longer that suit stays on him, the worse it gets. Clown is definitely a movie that I wish we had some more of today. I still think there's so many things you could do in the clown subgenre, if you will, besides just the stuff like Pennywise. You can really get creative, and with clowns, you could take a lot of different avenues with clowns. They can be really creepy in a human sense, they can be almost sort of mystical, and there's a lot of ways you can go. So with Clown, the movie, I really like the story of this one. They had a mythology to what was going on with this, but they didn't overplay it to kind of devalue just the intense scare factor that something just like a creepy clown has. It was one of those Eli Roth Presents movies, and I feel like that's a thing that I don't see as much. For a little while, I felt like those Eli Roth Presents movies were everywhere. One of the more predominant ones that came out a few years ago was probably a movie like Haunt, but a few years before that, I couldn't escape Eli Roth. Any movie that came out seemed to say Eli Roth Presents on it. The Clown was a great movie. This is something I think that if Scream Factory did like a 4K of, it would help provide a new audience to the film, and I think people would check that out for the first time. But I'll tell you, go online, you could probably get that Clown Blu-ray for fairly cheap on Amazon. It's not like it's something that's out of print or anything, but this was a great movie. I would have loved to have seen this in the movie theater because it was that good, but unfortunately, movies like that at that time weren't getting that kind of prestige. If this would have came out now under the Shudder IFC banner, no doubt we'd all be going to the movie theater to check out Clown. And I would have loved a popcorn bucket based off of that movie. But yeah, that's a great movie. Out of the three, this is definitely the best. But Gags the Clown is something I think people should just check out. Keep your expectations tempered, but if you've seen Behind the Sightings, this will be a huge breath of fresh air. But in terms of the weird factor, something I've always wanted to talk about because there's nothing I've ever seen like it, go for Wrinkles the Clown, a faux found footage documentary about a Floridian clown that shows up to kids' houses to scare them straight when they're getting bad grades or not listening to their parents. So guys, on this channel, I like to explore the unexplored and talk about the weird and somewhat forgotten. Hopefully today's video showed you something you'd have some interest in, and if you've seen any of those movies, let me know down below. This is your old pal CHH, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.